It's C-Doc again.
Good morning.
Party people in a place to be. It is Tuesday night. Sorry, I was saying goodnight to the kids. You know, because dad's got to do that sort of thing. Anyway, welcome to another episode of It's C-Doc again. I'm your host, C-Doc. And as always, another exciting show tonight with a fantastic guest. Looking forward to talking to him. But first, please allow me to introduce my co-hosts. First up is a gal that got her start in classic rap radio, our lady from the heyday of K-Day, Jennifer. Oh, Jenny.
What's happening?
What's good, sis?
You know, things are thinging. And apparently everybody in my house wants to join in.
Well, all right.
Per usual.
Party people.
Right. That's what we need to teach Ashley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. It's always a party at Jen's place, I guess.
Yeah. The
So,
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom is what it is.
That too. Shout out to Dre Mays, Overkill, and Shanalika in the house. Okay. Anyway, sorry, I'm messing with the phone. I had the calendar open. Figuring out guests for future episodes. Also joining us tonight, our other co-host, who is one of the founders and co-host of People's Distinctive Travels, a fantastic podcast coming from New Jerusalem, Ultramag 7.
New Jerusalem, what exit? What exit?
What's up, man?
What's up, y'all?
How are you?
I'm about to call Noah and get an ark because it's been raining forever in New Jersey.
Still.
Oh, dude, it's man, I was driving today and then you just saw the sky turn blue and black at the same time and then just what? Crazy.
Damn, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we've been lucky here because it's, we've had like scattered showers, but nothing crazy like I keep hearing about.
Yeah, thunderstorms galore, like 2 or 3 times a day. It's crazy.
Wow.
Something tells me it has something to do with just you. It's following you.
You know what?
You know what?
Rip Van Winkle? Oh.
Damn.
I had to. Nobody knows but us.
DJ Soulbuck in the house.
Soul business.
Headsnack built an ark for his backyard because,
I'll come and, I could buy it off you.
Jennifer, did you end up going out to I'm guessing you didn't. Did you end up going out to the MacArthur Park thing, the King Tea?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Nope, that would have been a big fat no.
It looked pretty cool, though. Yeah.
It did, but...
Okay, that's all you got to say.
MacArthur Park.
Yeah. Isn't there a song about that?
Probably.
Probably.
Somewhere.
Yeah. Somewhere, exactly. Yeah.
I think it was a disco song, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. 70s song. Yeah. Something like that.
Oh, real quick. Speaking of the 70s.
Yes.
You know what I saw today? I saw they still make pet rocks.
Seriously.
I saw one and I said, where did you get that from? I was like, I haven't seen that since the 70s. And, obviously I was older than she was. And
one of those as seen on TV jobs.
It had to be. She thought it was a new thing. I was like, they came out in the 70s.
Yeah. That's like old school.
Yeah.
Also, what were they called? The things where you poured the water in and the hair grew.
Oh, the Chia Pet.
There you go.
Oh yeah,
That was an 80s thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Listen, anybody who gets one of those lava lamps and thinks they're brand new.
Yeah, right.
No.
Whew.
Cycles. Life runs in cycles.
New is old, well, ain't no cycle.
That's right. That's it.
Okay.
There. Mara was chiming in. Whoop.
Yes, overkill. The
Mara,
commissioner
what's up?
is here.
The
What's up, Mara?
Probably trying to put the damn kids to bed. I heard him
Commissioner.
screaming up there. Yeah. Anyway, let's we could
Overkill's mad at you. You can't do the commish like that.
What do the commission like what?
When he made the crack.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
MacArthur Park.
Yeah.
Okay, there it was. Yeah, 60s. Okay.
MacArthur Park is nasty these
And then
days.
Weird Al did Jurassic Park. So there you go.
Yeah.
Now
There
we
you
all
go.
know.
Mm.
Now that we've wasted enough of our guest time, let's bring them on. So, talking about MacArthur Park and Pet Rocks and Chia Pets. Excited tonight to talk to one of the world famous Beat Junkies, also a member of Dilated Peoples. And I actually got the chance to tour with him once for a couple of shows. I don't know if he remembers that or not. I'm sure he remembers the tour. He probably just doesn't remember me. But anyway, we'll get into that. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show DJ Babu.
Babs.
What's up, C-Doc? Jennifer Jenny. And I must say, I am so excited to meet my man Ultra Mag 7 for the first time.
Stop it.
I am a huge fan of your Instagram works. And after we get off this, we have to figure out a way that we can collab because you got to make one of these quirky, sick-ass videos for one of my next releases. The MF Doom one with the sign. I was laughing and at the same time.
There you
Well,
go.
I can leave now. I'm Thank you, sir. We'll talk. We will talk.
Your reputation
Sorry,
precedes you, Ultra
Jennifer
Mag.
Jenny and C-Doc, you guys aren't shabby either, but Ultra Mag 7 is doing something special on my Instagram feed every day. So
Hey, that's why he's on the show. You know, it was like I became a fan first,
sense.
so I get it.
It makes sense. It makes sense. How are you guys?
Good. How are you, sir?
Good.
I'm good. I'm breathing. I'm living. I can't complain.
And you said you're at the school, huh?
I'm at the school right now. I was just in the middle of doing a workshop, but my guys are holding me. I had to leave in the middle of the workshop and jump on the podcast with you guys. So, but it's kind of the story of my life. The last going on 6 years now, I've been full-time teaching, so it's kind of been my focus. I'm still doing Dilated, obviously, always doing Beat Junkies, but teaching has become a big part of my many hats I wear, I guess.
Yeah, it's so dope. You know, we talked to Rep Maddock about it when he came on the show a few weeks back. So, and I just saw it's great that you're on tonight because I just saw today that you guys are going to be offering an online course, correct?
Yeah. So, due to the demand, we have a lot of following that's not geographically, as accessible to us here in Glendale, California. So, it's been a long time coming. We've had an online school, but the difference is, now that we're offering online classes through the Beat Junkie Institute of Sound versus beatjunkies.tv, is that we're actually offering the literal, the curriculums that we run here, at least the digital version, trying to give people the same experience who come here to Glendale to train with us. We're trying to bring that experience to people all over the world. So that's first class launches July 8th. So we've just been hollering about that, and that's going to be taught by the one and only DJ Melody. But we're over here just as much as we're purveyors of art and culture. You know, we are entrepreneurs trying to run a successful business here, and it's definitely a labor of love. So us going digital is just another way for us to just deal with the many monkey wrenches life has thrown all of us in the last 2-3 years. So crossing my fingers, and hopefully we get some cool signups. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic, man. Yeah, I was really surprised. It literally popped up on my Instagram today as I was scrolling through this morning. I was like, wow, that's great timing. So
For sure.
yeah. So okay, let's go back
Okay.
to your start, your beginnings, and getting into hip hop and DJing specifically. What was the beginning of your path to that?
So for me, I'm a Navy brat. You know, I'm your typical Filipino American, where my father got here through enlisting in the Navy, and my mother got here by becoming a nurse, and they both were kind of like not kind of, they were like the ones for their own families to first come to the United States. And you know the story. I'm gonna save up really hard and try to bring the rest of my brothers and sisters and cousins and et cetera over.
Yeah.
And so, it all started for me in Washington, D.C. That's where I was born. And I grew up very early in Maryland, actually. I was born on the East Coast. But like I said, I was a Navy brat. So by the time I was 5, I had moved to Jacksonville, Florida, because that's where my father's ship got stationed at. And then by the time I was 8, which was 84, I moved to Oxnard, California, which is a suburb outside of Los Angeles. And it's probably more notoriously known as the home of Madlib and
Yeah.
the Loop Pack. Those are some friends I go way back with: DJ Rome's, Wild Child, Can Kick. Um, so, I moved to Oxnard like in '84, and as I pull up to living in my cousin's house, hip hop's exploding. It's like PBS is showing Wild Style, Break In, and Beat Street are hitting the theaters, and I'm about 7, 8 years old at this time. So like most of us in my age group, like just hip hop started becoming a very big part of the soundtrack of my life. I initially wanted to be a b-boy or a dancer. That was the first thing. Obviously, the garages in the neighborhood trying to learn to rock and break. But there was a older kid in my neighborhood on my street by the name of Rex. He didn't even have a DJ name, but he had turntables. And that was the first time I actually saw someone DJing up close. And we would go to his garage and be breaking and popping. So those are my earliest memories, And I tried to write graffiti. I wasn't that brave, so I didn't really get outside of the notebook. I have a mean tag though. And then rapping, just I never really liked my voice. But back then, I definitely had an affinity for the music, and DJing was interesting, but I just wasn't old enough, and there was no way my parents were going to spend that kind of money for equipment. Turntables up to now are still very expensive. So, hip hop became what it was for my soundtrack. And then it wasn't until I was 16 or 17, much later, just being an avid rap fan, I ran into another friend in high school who had turntables, and I would go to his house and mess around. I realized I kind of had a knack for it. So, it inspired me to get my first job. I worked all kinds of odd jobs, from working at shoe stores to working at a gas station, to earn my first set of turns. And so I technically got my first set of turns about my junior year in high school.
Okay.
And ever since then, I haven't looked back. It's something that just became my identity and my everything. And it's funny to think about the beginning. I tried many things. I tried to be a mobile DJ. I tried to be in a mobile crew and do parties. Like, out here in Southern Cali, it's like you get a little crew going where you have a DJ, and then someone buys part of the equipment, and then this guy has the lights, and then this guy has the records, and you guys would try to do birthday parties and sweet 16s and stuff. And after clearing one too many dance floors of doing that, I really realized my calling was to be more of a bedroom DJ, and I really got obsessed with, other things like using a 4-track and trying to make multi-track mixes, something I really, really loved. And it was a big part of my fundamentals growing up. And then I, of course, was just obsessed with DJs on rap records. and DJs and rap groups. And before you knew it, I was starting to be able to get a copy of a copy of a copy of a DMC or a new music seminar battle. And I was a very niche DJ from the beginning. I knew I wanted to cut and scratch, make mixtapes, and enter battles. That was pretty much it for me. And many years later, I just went through the whole thing of entering garage battles to house party battles, being all the way out in the cut. And I think a big break for me was, Oxnard, where I was staying in Camarillo, we're like halfway between Los Angeles and Santa Barbara, I guess is a good way of kind of putting it if you're looking at the Southern California map. So I was fortunate enough that like at the time, sororities and fraternities would throw these big weekends, especially the Filipino sororities and fraternities would throw these big weekends where they would all get together called friendship games, and so they had one of these big meetings at UCSB, and they had all the fraternities and sororities had DJs representing their fraternities in the DJ battle, and someone had fell through, so someone who knew me in the area was like, hey, there's a spot in this battle, they need an extra, would you like to jump in? And I was just so hungry and ignorant at the time. I was just like, yeah, I'll battle anybody. Fuck yeah, you know what I mean? I was just like that hip hop, just that real obnoxious, you can't tell me shit,
Right.
kind of dude. And then I get there to the battle and I realize there's all these really heavy hitting DJs in it. More particularly, a couple names that you guys might have heard of. DJ Ruthless from the Bay Area was in it, and more notoriously, DJ Rhapmatic of the Beat Junkies was in this battle. And I'm telling you, I was already a fan of the Beat Junkies. I mean, I'd seen Rhapmatic on Soul Train with Brotherhood Creed already. Rhett's legend already preceded himself. And so to add insult to injury, not only was that happening, but guess who was judging? The Beat Junkies were judging, fresh off his new music seminar appearance. Shortcut was going to be in the house doing a special exhibition. So I was I was just kind of really, I wasn't talking shit, but like I said, I was real, I was amped, I was ready, I didn't hesitate. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh wow, did I bite off more than I can chew here? I paced around all night and stressed. Somehow I end up in the finals against Rhapmatic, and somehow, God willing, I actually won. And it's something me and Rhett always joke around about till now. You know what I mean? I always will be yeah, but I beat you in that rap battle, Rhett, and then I'll just run real fast because Rhapmatic's been known to choke Babu out here and there for my little smart ass little bro comments, but it was a mind blowing, if not door opening experience. I got to make noise in front of all these guys who were not, I was not in their peripheral yet, and all of a sudden, guys that I just seen and heard about were treating me like their peer. From that point, I made friends not only with Rhapmatic but with Melody and Curse. Before you knew it, I was driving out to Cerritos on the weekends. I would go to Curse's garage, and before you knew it, I got to meet J-Rock, and it was like meeting a bunch of my long lost cousins. It was literally such a blessing. And I don't know, before you knew it, I was literally driving to Cerritos from where I was at, which is a 90-minute drive every weekend, just to go crash on someone's floor and scratch and do recreational drugs all weekend. I felt like I really found my tribe. You know what I mean? Out where I was, like I said, I was in the mobile crew and I had some, folks that I was down with, but I really didn't have anyone really on the same page in terms of how I really took the turntables and how I was really looking at this and how serious I was. And everything just went up and up and up after I started hanging out with the Beat Junkies. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months later, J-Rock ended up asking me to be down. And it's been such a blessing. I'm one of the later members of the Beat Junkies. Before they circled the wagons, I was actually asked to be down. And so it's been a super honor. Those guys are my bros now. But sometimes it seems like yesterday when I was on the outer circle, outside of the circle looking in, and it's still just even be homies with these guys, let alone to now I've been rocking with everybody for so long. It's just been such a great blessing and just such a blessing to my life and my career.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
that's so dope.
Wow.
Hey, real quick, Babu, we have a special guest who just jumped in. He tried to call me, and so I told him, I'm like, hey, the show's on. But ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chuck D.
Yo,
Oh, brother Chuck,
what's up, tour buddy?
my tour dog. Hey, man, let me tell you guys, Chuck. First night of tour, I was on the tour with Black Alicious, Dilated, Public Enemy. And I want to say it was the first night after the first show we got to do, Chuck. And I was hanging outside with Lord. And I was still kind of like, trying to make friends and trying to get to know, new members and everyone's crew and everything. And obviously, I was like so awestruck to be on tour with Chuck. And with Chuck, just like the most humble, just came out and dropped bars for like 45 minutes on me and Lord outside the tour bus, and he just greeted me with such open arms. And I always remember how Chuck treated myself and Evidence and Raka. Just such a blessing to have someone that we looked up to so hard to, you know, just treat us like family on that tour. And always thank you for that, Chuck. Some of my fondest memories, man. So great to see you.
Man, thank you, man. I often, when people ask me about the elements of hip hop, and I tell them about like how MCing is vocalization, and graffiti is art culture, and dance is b-boying. I always mention your name when it comes well, turntable is musicianship like a DJ Babu. I always mention your name, and I tell you, it's like kind of by default too, because sometimes I'd be like, I should mention other DJs too, but I always end up with you. so but also that when I first met you, I got that same buzz out of you because you had a reputation, a world DJ, and you was really humble, man. So I was really enamored by that.
No, thanks, Chuck. Well, I learned from the best. I learned from the best, and and my apologies too, man. Like I don't know if for NAM that awesome award you won and performance you did. But congrats on that, man. That was so dope. That was just that whole hip hop thing that you got awarded at was amazing, and you killed it that night. By the way, I didn't get to run into you. You were super going superstar mode that night. It was hard to get at you, but it was a blessing to see you rock. Awesome.
Now I was trying to get around to you. It was crazy. And they talk about the BET Awards was nuts too. But I'm glad that they were able to include the importance of turntablism and DJing, and you're at the top of that very short list of those who are the best in the world that's able to do it, man. So we're honored to have you on the show. As you can see, I don't drink and drive because I don't drink. I don't smoke and drive because I don't smoke. But doing this show and driving is also hazardous to your health as well. So I'm going to pull it to the side, and I'll catch it from the other side of checking the show out. But Babu, salute to you. Ultra and Jenny and Doc and everybody else, all the love. And I want everybody to continue to check out the show. And one of the greatest and also one of the most humble superstars and executioners and technicians and just annihilators of the turntables, Sir DJ Babu.
I love you, Chuck. I love you so much, my brother. So good to see you always.
Thanks,
yeah, always,
Chuck.
man. I had to check in, man, and give my dude, that salute, man. That tour that we had in 2002, man, warms a special place in my heart.
Likewise, Chuck. And hey, when you're free, we'd love to have you here at our school, man, to do a little something when you have time. I know you're busy running around, but I'd love to have you at the school and to talk about your journey and bless our student body with all that good wisdom.
For you, that's somebody I will actually move things out of my schedule with. And because I'm actually here, there, and everywhere, and 4 or 5 coasts at the same time, it's nothing but a drive to me and some schedule. So let's make it happen.
My brother. Thanks, Chuck.
Thank you, bro. All right, y'all. Peace.
Thanks, Mr. Chuck.
Woo!
See, Babu, now you didn't have to wait for me to pull that off.
Yeah, there you go.
Some people, some people, you're always gonna be blown away, and Chuck, like you guys obviously know, such a down to earth, humble dude. I don't know if he does a really good job of playing off like he's unaware of his greatness, but man is 1 in a billion, man. That was amazing. Thank you guys so much. Yes.
Oh,
Ultra
you're
Mag.
welcome. You're
Of course
welcome.
you have all of those on cassette. Of course you do.
Of course.
Yeah, so Babu, my group, the Impossibles, was signed to Chuck's label, and we played 4 shows on that tour with you guys. So back in
I heard
2002.
I heard in the intro, and I'm not gonna sit here and lie like I remember. You're right.
It's fine.
My
It's fine.
brain cells are failing me as they usually do. But
Yeah, it's all good.
I hope I wasn't a dick, or I hope I was
No.
an okay guy, fellow DJ on tour. I always try to fight
man.
for my fellow DJs on tour, but I hope I wasn't coming off like a dick or anything. Let me know.
No, you guys were great. We played Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Detroit, and Cincinnati with you guys. And actually, I want to thank you because one of my fellow Impossibles, who is no longer with us, Marcus J., stayed in touch with you on Facebook for a while after, and he said, "Oh, yeah, I talked to Babu." And he's you were always super cool. So thank you for that. It meant a lot to me.
Oh, rest in peace to I had no idea, man. Sorry to hear about you guys' loss. That's awful, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, thank you. Appreciate it. But no,
well, good to reconnect with you again. My apologies for my lack of brain cells, but
it's all good.
Yeah, no.
I was gonna say it was.
I have to be honest with you. It's all one tour at this point for a cat like me. I'm trying, but
sure.
It's all like one big tour.
Sure. I mean, we're talking 21 years ago.
You did say something about a lot of recreational drugs, so you get an excuse with that.
It's the downside. It's the downside of that. You definitely.
Yeah, it's all good. Okay, so there we go, Mr. Chuck. Let's see, where did we leave off? Okay, so
that was amazing. Oh yeah, Beat Junkies, yeah.
Yeah, Beat Junkies. And is that when you started to really take the competition stuff seriously?
Yeah, about the time when the Beat Junkies asked me to be down, I was just entering my first DMCs. So I'm trying to think of what year this is. This is about 94, I want to say 95-ish. So I meet Rhetmatic, Shortcut, Mello, all the Junkies. I start hanging out in Cerritos. And then before you know it, there was another big upcoming battle. And now I'm about to pull. This one's going to reveal all of our ages here. I'm sure everyone remembers Rap Sheet.
Oh, yeah.
And Rap Sheet used to have these Rap Sheet conventions. So this wasn't quite a DMC battle or a Supremacy battle, but, the Rap Sheet convention was pretty cool. It would happen in LA at the Roosevelt Hotel in Hollywood. And they had the Rap Sheet convention DJ battle. So I was like, a 45-minute drive for me. I'm like, I'm definitely entering this battle. At this point, I'm friends with everyone a little bit now. I'm kind of like starting to get known in the battle DJ community a little bit. So I enter this battle, but this time, not only is Rhetmatic in the battle, but Shortcut is actually in this battle this time. Look at Ultra Mag 7 pulling Rap Sheets out. This motherfucker.
Yeah, I was looking for mine too. I don't know where it is.
When you said Rap Sheet, I was like, yo, it's somewhere around here.
Like,
yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking.
I know my Rap Sheet microfilm is around here somewhere. Never gonna cease to amaze me. Oh my god. We're like long lost cousins, Ultra Mag. You remind me about you remind me of a bunch of homies. Oh my god, I make a reference, you like pulls out the reference. Like, oh my god. So, anyways, I'm sorry. Rap Sheet convention battle. So I enter the battle again, and this time not so fortunate. I meet Shortcut in the semifinals, and he beats me. But goddamn, we had a round. We had a great round, and even though I lost, it was like a happy loss. I was like, dude, I lost a shortcut, but dang, I lost a shortcut good. Like,
Right.
and so from that battle, like I left really charged. It gave me a confidence boost just knowing I was even in the same stratosphere with some guys. Literally 6 months to a year ago, I thought I was like nowhere even on the level. So I also had the pleasure of just connecting with a lot of people at this rap sheet convention. D Styles was someone who I finally got to meet for the first time, another beat junkie, and we hit it off tremendously. And I remember coming off stage after getting beat by Shortcut, and I was approached by two people from the DMC West Coast, and they were like, "Hey, you did great. Did you know that in the next few weeks we have the DMC West Coast finals happening in San Francisco, and it would be great if you entered." And you have to understand, I'm still living at my mom's house, working at the gas station. Just spend all my loot to just go to LA and spend it all on records. And if I wasn't at the gas station or at the record store, I was just literally practicing. So watching DMC videos. So it was just like, this is pre-internet. So most of the time I was used to, if I found out about a DMC battle, it was already 6 months past.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the loop enough. I wasn't in the know enough to even find out about these shits. So I was just, DMCs in 2 weeks? I'm like, and I'm standing next to D Styles, and D Styles like, yeah, you should enter. You can stay at my house. And so just like real quickly, this is like the previous battle was only 2 months before that. This rap sheet battle happens. And so like in a couple weeks, I'm like, West Coast DMC. I'm like, okay, cool. Fuck it. I mean, I got a place to stay. I'll catch a flight. So I go up there the next weekend. I go up there, practice my butt off. I get to stay at D Styles' house, so it was really great. I had someone who knew the whole scene, could drive me around. Um, and not only was it just like a mind blowing weekend because of the actual battle, but it was the first time I got to kick it with it was like one of the best hangouts with all the junkies. So not only was myself competing, Shortcut was competing, Melody ended up rolling up there, Curse rolled up, Rhetmatic rolled up. So we all basically went to D Styles' house and just had this meeting of the minds the week. And we all started dropping acid. Like all weekend, we were just doing acid and practicing for the battle. And literally, guys, I think I leveled up over that weekend. Like I just literally leveled up. Just had so many mental breakthroughs.
Yeah.
And I'm just being totally just perfectly frank with you. Like we're just so out of it, but just so zoned in this special place. Sunday comes around, battle goes down, and like not only are all these guys in the battle, but other names I'm thinking of, DJ Disc, DJ Quest, Positively Red, Pam the Functurist. It was a crazy lineup of DJs who were going against, and I still was literally a nobody. I really didn't have a rep outside of just started making a rep in Southern California. And somehow battle goes down, and I place second.
Wow.
Somehow, Shortcut gets first, I get second. Quest and Disc tie for third. Disc ends up winning the tiebreaker. And unlike DMCs now, it's amazing. DMC, I could be wrong, but I want to say there's 12, 13, 14 battlegrounds this year, like preliminary rounds. Back in the day when we were competing, it was an East Coast final and a West Coast final. Top three of each final is the U.S. final. 6 people are in your U.S. final.
Yeah.
So somehow I'm all of a sudden, I went from a local level within 6 months. All of a sudden, I'm going to New York to battle against Rock Raider. In New York, being hosted by Red Alert. I mean, and I go to New York with Shortcut. We go for New Year's in New York, and I'm just like so ripe. I've never really traveled. This is my first time really being out on my own. Me and Short share an apartment from one of the DMC organizers' apartment. They gave us their apartment to use for the weekend and to practice at. And we spent New Year's in New York waiting for this DMC USA battle. And so it was myself, Shortcut, Disc, Rock Raider, Ghetto, and DJ Active. That was the US finals. And it was such an amazing experience, guys. I mean, not if I was already pinching myself. I was getting to hang around with the likes of Melody and D Styles and my Beat Junkie bros, Shortcut and Rhetmatic. But to go to New York and then Shortcut tells me, hey, you know what we're gonna do on this day? We're gonna go to Uptown to Harlem. We're gonna go hook up with. We're gonna go to Rock Raiders pad and go hang out with the X-Men. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. These are all
Wow.
fictitious comic book characters as far as I'm
Woo.
concerned that I've watched on videotape. So to go to New York and actually meet all these idols of mine, and then they knew me. They knew me. They like knew my routines. They're like, oh man, we seen that routine you did, son. Oh, son. I mean, like getting off. I mean, it was such a culture shock too. Getting off me and Short, two Filipino bros just dropped off the train in Harlem. I mean, I literally the doors opened and everything turned black and white. Like it was crazy. It was crazy. It was like a Nas video, like for real, for real. Like we were just and Raider, like he met us at the stop because he knew better than to just let us walk around the hood.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing experience. That same weekend, actually, I met my good friend Joe Jab from Fat Beats, which was another big part of my career. Was that initial meeting of meeting Joe. I remember me and Shortcut heard about a store in Fat Beats. Oh, there's a store that took over Bobito's shoe store. It's called Fat Beats. I heard it's really dope. And me and Shortcut walk in there looking to just cop some vinyl, and Joe was playing the West Coast DMC finals on the videotape, and he was like, he knew me, he knew Short. He said he'd been looking to meet up more people from the West Coast, and that ended up turning into me becoming the manager of Fat Beats LA about maybe 6 to 8 months later. Joe would come out to the West Coast and ask me if I wanted to work as a manager at his store in LA that he was opening. So that whole trip to New York, I didn't win that battle. I didn't even place, but I'd like to feel like I left a real impression, and it left a huge impression on me. And that next year, I came back and like I damn near like won everything. I came back on a rampage. If you watch my '95 DMC to what I was doing the next year, it was like a whole other DJ. I think people thought I was okay, but the next year I came back, people were like, "Oh, you're different. You're really different now. Like you're really different." And all that from meeting the Beat Junkies, finding a crew to like really bounce and build ideas off of, knowing how close I was to it, and to be able to spar with the likes of a Rob Swift or a Rock Raider or Sinister. It really put things in perspective and gave me a huge boost of confidence. So those next few years, 95, 96, 97, 98 was really like battle prime time for me. And that eventually led to me joining Dilated Peoples, So I started working at Fat Beats, battling started slowing down. I'm still making mixtapes. Me and the guys are making a lot of noise. We're all DJing on the radio stations here in LA. I'm gigging a lot. I've now moved to LA so I can manage Fat Beats, and I moved to Hollywood. And I meet Evidence and Rocka. I'd met Rocka before, and before I moved to LA, I met Rocka. We had a mutual friend, and he was telling me about his group. Oh, you got to hear about my group, Dilated Peoples, my partner Evidence. And they still weren't really out there quite yet, but I was interested and had my own things going on. So when I came back to LA and started working in LA, I got to reconnect with Rocka. They were selling. Literally, they started putting out records with ABB Records. They put out their first 12-inch, and Fat Beats was a spot to start slanging independent wax. So I was taking their records on consignment. I finally got to meet Evidence. We all found out we all were very fond of marijuana, which really helped bridge everything there, And it's a couple studio sessions. Hey, Babs, DJ for us at a local show here. Ended up snowballing me into being the third member of the group, So we continued to put out independent records. I was working at Fat Beats a little less and less. I started like getting busier and busier. And then I want to say around the late 98, 99, I went full time with Dilated. And the bidding wars started on Dilated. We had 3 really successful 12 inches on ABB Records. Back then it was pretty amazing, guys, because successful meant you were selling like 30, 40,000 copies of a 12-inch.
Yeah.
And really independently, literally independently. I mean, Evan Rock, we used to go to Rainbow, pick up pick up the copies and then bring them to Amoeba, bring them to Fat Beats, bring them to wherever,
Yeah.
And there was a lot of DJs supporting us, and all these DJs are buying doubles of everything, so it was a beautiful time. And before likes and followers came into the play, this is what A&Rs look like. They looked at your shows and they looked at if you could sell merch. They were looking at if you had um, any kind of noise being made about you outside of just your local region. And so by the time these labels started hitting us up to do label showcases and court us for meetings, we were already doing festivals overseas. We were selling out local venues. Um, on our own. We were selling our own vinyl, and I remember, A&R hitting us up like, "Hey, would you like to play at our label showcase? There's a good chance you guys might get signed, or see some other artists and some other A&Rs." And we were like, "We'd love to Friday, but actually, we have this venue sold out on Sunset. If I'll put you on the guest list if you guys want to check us out." So it was a really unique position we were in for being such a underground group. We had a lot of leverage because these A&Rs would come to our shows, and our fans are like fucking die for us, man. So like for them to come through and see like, wow, this little humble group sure has a strong following. They're traveling overseas. So we were pretty much courted by almost every label at a time, with the exception of like, I don't know, Def Jam and fucking Bad Boy, you know what I mean? Like, but every label made some kind of offer to us, and it was a really exciting time for us. Um, and we opted with Capitol Records because they just gave us the most freedom. They were going to allow us to keep doing our vinyl independently with ABB Records that they'd have nothing to do with. They gave us the most money and the most creative control. And it was weird because technically they didn't really have rap in their building at the time. The closest thing they had to rap was the Beastie Boys, and the Beastie Boys they were they were their own unique entity that had their own Grand Royal label imprint, and so it was like kind of a clean slate for us, and we could kind of just create our own path for ourselves. And we had an amazing A&R by the name of Ron Lafitte who signed us. His previous successes were Megadeth and Jane's Addiction, and he worked very closely with um, Dave Mustaine from Megadeth, and very closely with oh God, I'm so embarrassed. I'm forgetting the lead singer's name of Jane's Addiction, something Perry. But
Perry Farrell.
those are his
Perry Farrell.
claims to fame.
Yeah.
And Perry Farrell, excuse me, thank you. And so Ron was really a big factor in us going the major label route, and doing this unique thing we had with Capitol Records. So, we ended up putting out 4 records on Capitol, and it was amazing. It was an amazing ride and journey. A lot of ups and downs, but we came out on the other end even, which is fucking amazing. Being a group like we are, most groups end up not ever putting anything out and being in the hole. We were luckily enough to navigate to a place where we broke even, and we ended up still putting out some independent records and re-signing with our good friend Rhyme Sayers later in our career, and still continuing to put out records. And yeah, I got nothing but really amazing memories from my whole ride with Dilated. I mean, it's still going now. Um, I still keep very closely in touch with Evidence and Rocco, and those are my bros. We're still doing shows, and we're going out to Europe in August.
Nice.
So, but yeah, I'm really proud to say that we were still like very close throughout this crazy ride we had, through the 2000s. But yeah, that's kind of like my journey of rap life in a nutshell, my DJ and rap life, I guess. Sorry for rambling so hard.
No, it's fine.
No,
We love the
great.
stories, man.
Yeah.
We love the
Great.
stories. I gotta ask, because it's one of my fucking all-time favorite joints. And you put out one of my eyes and I still have 2. Put out the second one and I can still see you.
Ooh,
But
triple optics.
but not the album version.
Oh, the Funky Precedent version.
Oh, bro.
Yeah. I love that too. That's funny. Is like, that really reminds me of a time where, I first got in the group. I feel as if like, the guys really wanted to have a strong DJ in the group. They were raised on, Evan Rock's biggest influences are probably like Run DMC and EPMD.
Right.
respectively, you know. And obviously they really wanted a real DJ. They could have like tapped so many people to be their DJ. I mean, everyone's got a cousin that's willing to you know, lift heavy boxes and go on the road with you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Right.
they really wanted a real DJ, and they had some real options. I mean, DJs like Homicide and Repmatic and Ralph M or some other names I think of people who had Revolution. I mean, people who had DJ for Evan Rock. And like I said, like, thank God my pedigree was tight, but thank God I could rip the bong. Because when Ev saw me rip the bong for the first time and snap it through, I think that's what really solidified me in the group early on. You know, like Rockin' was sold earlier, but then when Ev saw me just pull a nice snapper through the bowl and just I was ready for another one, and I could scratch. You know what I mean? I think it was like a
Right.
match made in heaven. You know, so no, but I think, you know, when I think of Funky Precedent, I really wanted Evan Rock to respect me as a producer as well as the DJ that was do the scratches and go on tour. And so those first few years of Dilated was me really working hard to step up my production game. I mean, you know, I walked into a situation where one third of the group was already an amazing producer in Evidence. The invisible member of our group is the one and only Alchemist.
Right.
The other best friend of Evidence and Alchemist is Joey Chavez.
Right.
And then Evan Rocca already had this very high standard. If we're going to go outside of our circle to get a beat, we're going to get real money and go get a real beat from a real producer. So it was a real uphill battle for me. So Funky Precedent, that version or that remix of Triple Optics was one of those things that I was trying to do to earn respect from Evan Rock. You know, they were kind enough on the first album to let me have a DJ song
Yeah.
called Service, where I had our, you know, our good old let's let our DJ shine. But I got busy on the cut, but I was really more about the beat I actually made. I was really trying to impress Evidence, especially with my chops and my technique, and showing them I've really been studying. I've really been working hard, and Ev helped me a lot out with you know, as much as Ev was skeptical of me being a producer, he was really open about showing me technique, showing me how to use the MPC. We'd put each other up on a lot of records and go do a lot of digging together. So that Funky President record brings me back to this time of when I was really trying to earn my stripes as being a legitimate part of the production for Dilated. So that brings back a real fond time when I was really hungry trying to get it in.
Oh, it's so dope, man. I remember when I first got this, like for a week, I didn't listen to the rest of the album. I was just like, I just kept skipping back to Triple Optics. Oh my God. It was just, I was like, this is
That's
ridiculous.
So
yeah. Because
we should bring that back. Myself and Rock, we used to perform that in the early days. That used to be, you know, like before we had the platform out and we just had to like make up a show out of our first 3 12 inches.
Yeah.
So something like that would show up in our show.
Wow.
Our features from somewhere else. I remember we used to do that live. I used to have that break, 2 copies of that break, and I used to just rock that shit live. It was the shit. We need to bring that shit back. Actually, that's so.
Damn.
I forgot about that shit.
That's dope. Yeah, that's so dope. Yeah. So thank you for that, Joint. That was crazy.
Thank you for listening. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Babs, going back to the Beat Junkies. So the thing I've heard, is it true that when you joined, J-Rock would get everybody a Green Lantern ring? Is that a real thing?
Yes, that is very true.
Wow.
Very true. And you know, that has nothing more to do with really. I don't think there was any significance to it other than at the time J-Rock was his job was working at the comic book shop. So
right.
You know, if you don't know J-Rock, he is an avid collector. I mean, obviously of records, but of many things. This fool collects comic books, magazines, all the polo shit, toys. He just quirky, amazing collector of sorts. So at the time, you know, from what I was told, because this is actually before my time when I was in the Junkies, when Jay decided to create the crew, everybody was in different mobile crews. So out here in Southern California, like I was telling you earlier, you might have a mobile crew, and everybody in your crew was really just an excuse to like be in a crew of some sort. So every crew had like the bogus homie who really didn't have skills, but oh, he's the business guy. And then there's a guy who like oh, he has the trussing and the lights. And then there's the other homie like, oh, I'll buy records, and I can carry shit and I can buy records. I own part of our music collection. But every crew had a DJ, a real DJ.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what Jay saw, because they would all go to each other's mobile crew parties and they'd see each other around, but they were all members of different mobile crews. But Jay, what he saw was the people that he tapped to be in the Beat Junkies were the DJs of these mobile
Right.
crews. So he had this vision like, what if I had a crew and everyone was tight? Like I don't have someone in the crew who's just, hey, he's he's my homie, so he's in the crew. Nah, you're in my
Right.
crew because you really are nice. And so working at the comic book shop at the time, I don't know, he got a shipment of those good old Green Lantern rings and said, "Hey, we're all gonna rock these. We're gonna be called the Beat Junkies, and this is how it's going down." So yeah, I wish
That's
there was
dope.
something deeper about it. You know what I mean? I'm
No,
not even
it's
sure.
still.
I think J Rock liked the Green Lantern comics, but I don't think it gets any deeper than that.
That's good enough for me. That's
Yeah,
good
right.
enough for me.
Good enough for me too, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
What led to creating Super Duck Breaks?
I guess I was inspired first of all by other DJs. I'm not the first to make like a DJ tool or a DJ
Right.
record that had things designed for you to use, but things I grew up on that I remember clearly. You guys, of course, probably know the Automator from Gorilla's fame. But before the Automator was a part of Deltron 3030 or Gorillas, he was one of the coldest beat makers and DJs in the underground. And he had this awesome record he put out, I don't know, maybe 84, 85, called Music to be Murdered By.
Yeah.
And dude, it's such a sick fucking cover. I mean, you just had to buy it because of the cover alone. It's like he's on this cover with a knife, and there's an SP1200 and turntables. It was just like some sick shit that, like, whoa, what a sick ass cover. And this record that he put out, not only did it have some sick ass beats that he produced, but he put these extra sounds at the end of the record, all the sounds that you wanted to scratch. So I remember finding one of those, and it was just like such a blessing to have that back in the day. And there was some other ones, there was like some other generic kind of scratch tools that came out, but it wasn't until the bulletproof scratch hamsters, DJ Quest came out with the bulletproof scratch hamster breaks,
Yep.
and Qbert came out with battle breaks,
Right.
that I got really inspired. So this is probably like, I don't know, 92, 93-ish. I started seeing these battle tools come out of the Bay. And so that inspired me a lot to make my own. I was entering battles. I was making a name for myself. I was, connecting in the scene, in the community. And I made friends with someone that you guys for sure know of, the one and only Peanut Butter Wolf.
Oh, yeah.
I made friends with him during my journey because we were both on this compilation called Return of the DJ. Shouts out to my good buddy Dave Tompkins, who put together this compilation. And myself and Peanut Butter Wolf and a bunch of other homies were all on this record, and we both loved each other's contributions. Ultra Mag 7 is going to pull out doubles, sealed.
No, I was going to pull out the bomb hip hop compilation.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh my god, it had to be a cassette though, even rarer.
Yeah.
But
If Flatline was here, he has the Return of the DJ.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm not surprised. But so me and Wolf became friends from being both on that compilation and being fans of each other's work. So we started keeping in touch on the phone, and he had told me about a label that he was starting called Stone's Throw. At the time, he was the record buyer, or he worked at a record distributor called New Groove. So he was the hip hop distributor, so he would get titles, and he would be the one on the horn to places like Fat Beats and Amoeba, Slang and Wax. So not only were we friends because of this compilation, but I was actually friends with him because I was ordering records from New Groove. And he was the rep, and he was hitting up my store. So I don't know whose idea it was, or if it was both of us, but we had the idea that why don't you do a battle record, Babs? I mean, you're killing the battle scene. I have a label. I'll put it out for you. So yeah, I came up with the idea to make this record, and the idea of the record the stupid name was really, at that point in time, I wish you guys could see me at that point, but I was just like, I was such a hardcore backpacker. I was so anti anything remotely commercial or radio or popular or anything. And, I was over here like walking around like, this is like 90, 94, 95. I was walking around like calling people herbs and
I love this guy.
and fucking, like literally calling people sucker. He's a sucker duck, not just a sucker duck. Like really referencing Chuck. Like I was, so duck became like this thing, like it became like a regular piece of slang for me. He's a duck. I was so negative, guys. I don't know. I embraced it. It was part of my growth, but I was very just that guy. Like, let's battle. You're whack. My crew's dope. Your crew's whack. Like, I was just about that. So when I made that record, that I don't even know. I just thought Super Duck Break sounds kind of cool. And I'm kind of low key clowning all these clown DJs who don't even have all these original records, so they're gonna buy my Battle Tool instead. So it was a weird kind of, I don't know, like weird time in my life. I embrace it. No. I have to embrace the darkness and the negativity of myself at that time. But it's part of my growth.
When's your birthday?
I'm a Virgo, September 17th.
There you go. That's why. September 19th.
As well?
September 19th.
2 days.
September 19th.
Jennifer Jenny also. I haven't met a Virgo I don't like.
There you go.
Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense.
Hey, I was gonna say
but thanks for mentioning Super Duck Breaks, man. That was like low key a very a really important release for myself. And the funny thing too is to think about where Stone's Throw was at. Me and Wolf will joke about it sometimes and just be like, man, there was a time when the only two releases was Rasco and Super Duck Breaks. And Peanut Butter Wolf Breaks. Yeah. Peanut Butter Wolf Breaks, Super Duck Breaks, and Charisma 12-inch were like the first few records, that were on Stone's Throw. And always am grateful for my bro for life, Peanut Butter Wolf. He had a great year. I don't not only think that Wolf had a great year for music, but he could see people that wanted to start movements. I think that was the biggest thing. Like, he was able to that that just a little more and just average boxes checked, and if you look at the kind of acts that Wolf has signed over the years, I'm really proud to be part of the Stone's Throw history and legacy.
Yeah, man, that's great. Hey, I gotta co-sign the negativity. The mid '90s, late '90s are rough time. Man. Rough.
Super backpacker, trust me.
Yeah, man. It's
super backpacker.
No, for sure.
For guys like us that were into it, and then to see where it was going, it was just like, oh boy, this is not cool. So yeah,
and for me too, me too, and it's something I always remember too, was I always felt as if like, are you guys both on the East Coast?
Yeah.
So and I always make this comparison because I feel like if what Puerto Ricans were to hip hop culture in the East Coast, I feel like Filipinos kind of filled that same kind of spot here on the West. And it's not really documented, maybe a little bit through DJing a little bit more than the other elements, but I swear to God, growing up, guys, the baddest graffiti writers, DJs, MCs, and dancers, there was always a Filipino in contention back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I think we all had to operate from this place that, we didn't look the part. I wasn't Black, I wasn't Latino, I was Filipino or Asian or whatever. So I think we held ourselves to a really high technical skill level, no matter what our craft was. I know for myself, I just already knew it was already a losing battle. Look in the mirror, I'm already an underdog. All right. So whatever's coming out these damn speakers better be the fucking truth. As far as I was always concerned about what I was going to share with people. And so at times it's been a gift and a curse, but I've always taken pride in just being really about skills and having that speak loudly for me, and being versed in the culture and really understanding that like I was allowed into a culture. It's a privilege to be allowed into this culture, and to be held in this regard. So I've always really tried to come from a place where I historically was always trying to school myself. Even up to now, I still feel like I'm still trying to learn, and
Yeah.
and then on top of that, I'm sharper than I've ever been on the turntables. So it's two things that I've always felt, if like I'm going to be allowed to be in these circles or in these communities, I better come correct in these two different ways, because um, of just like I said, being that non-typical or stereotypical. What does a hip hopper look like, or what should they look or be like? So
Yeah.
Well, but wait a second, because a lot of the mix masters didn't look like your typical
for
anything.
sure.
Very true.
Well,
Tony G, all of those
for
guys,
sure.
Julio.
I can't say enough how much I was inspired by the mix masters, but for sure. Yeah, but I guess from my point of view, if you were Latino, you were more hip hop than me. Like you were more acceptable than I was. You know what I mean? Especially being on the younger side early on. You know what I'm saying? So, but I definitely was inspired by Tony, and I hear what you're saying. I definitely hear what you're saying, Jenny. He must have shocked a lot of cats back in the day with his skills, and them, if they'd never heard him before. He definitely didn't look like the killer he is. So
Right.
I'm definitely inspired by them, and the path they laid down for all of us DJs, especially here in Southern California.
Yeah,
Yeah, Tony. Oh my
Tony
God, man.
would.
Tony is birth. He is my father. Tony G is my father. Please quote me. Tony G is my dad, and
I'm
I
telling
love
him.
I love
I'm
I
telling
love
him.
Tony so much. Oh my God, he's like continued to just be such an inspiration, and he's actually really given. I look at Tony as like a mentor to the Beat Junkies, to a bunch of us. He has a great relationship with a bunch of us on individually, and he's been nothing but kind and just so wise, and been giving us just great fucking years. Even as of recently, you know, to have him and the rest of the mix masters be a part of our NAM booth this year in Anaheim was just like a dream come true. It was such a full circle moment for us to literally. It sends chills down my spine to think that we were hosting the mix masters at our event or our stage, and just such a big inspiration for the Beat Junkies and Mix Masters. But thank you for reminding me, Jenny, that they
Let me
definitely
let me
are
just
everything.
tell you. Yeah, let me just tell you, Tony. Tony was always like that. Tony was the first mix master ever.
Yes, yes, yes.
And he's the one that started it all. And he was always like that. When we would go to schools or whatever it was, and a lot of times you didn't even see Tony. And when he would
Yeah,
show his face,
yeah.
people were like, "Wait a minute, what?"
No, I remember Tony telling me about these times, and like it really blew me away when I considered the fact that like he wasn't, and he wasn't the oldest one either. He might have arguably been one of the younger ones, if not the youngest one. And it's crazy, guys. Like Tony was the one putting money in cats' pockets, giving them the gigs, putting them in places, telling them to be sharp and be on point, practice your shit and be on time, all while being the biggest neck wringer out of all of them. You know what I'm saying? But that's something that yeah, a lot of people don't know about Jenny, that I'm glad you brought up, because um the all that work that the mix masters did, like that, those pebbles that they dropped in the pond so many years ago, a lot of those wouldn't have been able to happen without all this behind the scenes work that Tony was doing, all that work that no one is celebrated for, the tough work, the numbers, the organizing, motivating cats, keeping fools in on point. It just went such a long way. And outside of Southern California, a lot of cats don't even really know about. You got to really know who Tony is unless you know. So, you think Mixmaster's first names that probably people think about is Aladdin or Joe Cooley. You know what I'm saying?
Joe
Or Battle
Cooley,
Cat. You know what I mean?
Julio, yeah.
And
Yep.
all the Mixmasters are amazing. But yeah, I can't say enough about Tony, and Jenny knows what I'm talking about when I say Tony's our dad. Like literally all of us father Tony, as far as I'm concerned.
And like it's like I was telling C-Doc the other day, Tony has always been, and I'm sure will always be, the most unassuming,
Yeah.
extremely humble.
Yes.
He's just Tony. And he's always been like that. Always.
It's what can I say? He's the bar. I really have taken more than a few pages out of Tony's books. I mean the mixed matches in general, but Tony is the one that one of the ones that I really am so fond of and have a special connection with. I randomly just asked. I feel comfortable to just randomly ask Tony questions. I mean, if I have a question about Ableton or I got a question about everything between like DJing and life, I can just reach out to Tony, and it's an amazing thing, And I don't really have too many people that I can like really say I can look up to and talk to in terms of like being a mentor. And I really look at the life he lived, and I'm like, wow. I literally patterned my life after this cat inadvertently, in terms of being a DJ, in terms of like him being in the industry and being a producer and traveling the world and doing the community building he's done here, owning record store. He's done everything under the gambit that I found myself doing. So he's just such a blessing to have still around, and being able to reach out to him and the other mixed masters is just it means more than money or fame or anything. Because I remember a day when I just wished a mixed master would know who I was, and it's just crazy to even think I have access to them or have their phone numbers or. It's just such a blessing.
Yeah.
Just don't go looking for Joe Cooley because he doesn't return phone calls. He takes forever to return phone calls.
I've got no serious myself, Jenny. So I no judgment.
Babu, do you still have a formidable record collection?
I do. I mean, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to put it up against anybody's record collection, but I do still have a lot of records. I have not sold many of my records over the years. I've continued to hoard and hoard and hoard like I do.
Yeah, because we've talked to who were we talking to? Oh, Phil Most Chill was on the show once, and he was talking about how he got rid of a lot of records. And we were like, wow, yeah, that's kind of crazy.
I've contemplated it, and I hope I never get to the point where I have to sell my records. But I am in the slow process of trying to digitize all my stuff. It'll probably always be a work in progress. But even if I do, I'd like to at least keep 1 or 2 copies of something. I mean, shit, do I really need 7 copies of fucking Bob James Mardi Gras? I mean, like, really? Like, I mean, I come from the school, guys, like where, I mean, I still have these habits where I'll go record shopping, and if I see a break I already have, if I don't buy it, I hide that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Hide that motherfucker. Hey, I learned that shit from Large Professor, man. You know what I'm saying? Like certain cats like, some things you'll never outgrow. But yeah, I'm still like that. It's fucked up, but yeah, I'm still like that.
Do you have any holy grail records you're still looking for?
I think we all do. I mean, you put me on the spot, so of course my mind's gonna go blank. But I think at this point, right now, when I do go digging, like I was just in Brazil and I went digging.
Oh,
At the end
nice.
of the day, the things are going to be in the matrix, and it's not surprising. It used to hurt me sometimes because, like, when I was really at my peak of digging, um, traveling made it such an advantage for me to be in different parts of the world and go hard body. It gave me access to things that, and this is pre Discogs,
Yeah.
pre heavy internet digging, like before it was available. So it was like it really gave me an edge. It really helped my production game to be able to do that. But God, you can imagine how much it hurt. Like, after I go on one of these missions where I'm spending $100 a pop on these records. Like, I'm shutting down record stores and staying in a record store all night, and blowing serious dough on records. And it's like it's a super cringe when you see this shit posted on YouTube. It's like, what the fuck? There's no way you guys put this rare ass Japanese record on YouTube. You got to be kidding me. So it hurt for a few years seeing like that happen, and but now I'm in this good place where I'm like, however I can sample it, I'm gonna get at it. There's no rules.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna go
Right.
buy a record, then I still am gonna go buy records. I don't think everything's in the matrix. Um, so I was in Brazil and I didn't mean to, but I don't know, man. I just casually dropped a G on record somehow. I didn't even fucking plan for it, man. I was supposed to be doing meet and greets. I was supposed to be selling 40. I had like 45s. I was supposed to be selling. I ended up just buying records. I don't know what the fuck happened, but yeah. But I got some crazy Brazilian fucking heat that I know is not in the Matrix yet. So, it's
Wow.
worth it. So we'll see. I still love records. It's a habit.
Yeah.
So and sometimes I'm trying to be better about it. But I
It's
love buying
hard.
records. Sometimes I just do it just to feel normal, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard, man. I feel you. It's tough. It's tough. Yep. Ultramag, do you have a question?
No, you know what? I always wondered this. So, did you guys ever have any beef with the other LA based beat junkies with like the Wascals and all them with that name?
No, and I don't think I just think by the time we came around, their shit wasn't. They weren't even really pumping that shit. So I don't think it
Right.
was really a factor to them. And I've seen a lot of the Far Side guys over the years, and um, we've never had. They've all been great. Those guys are all amazing. They've always been great to us. Um, I know Breakbeat Lou. I think there was a little funniness of Breakbeat Lou because that was him and his partner's original production name when they were making the ultimate breaks and beats.
Ah,
But
Mm.
good old Uncle Lou gave us the blessing. Many years later when we became friends and when he realized we were all cut from the same cloth. I remember him being like, I wasn't gonna ask you guys about using our name because we were Beat Junkie Productions originally, but I met y'all and y'all are cool, so it's cool. It's cool. We can both use the name. So shouts out to Breakbeat Lou for
Yeah.
giving us the
yeah,
pass.
Yep.
yeah,
We had Lou on the show a couple weeks ago, so
yeah.
yeah.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
yeah, that's our big brother right there. I love Lou.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good stuff. So
He's the original Beat Junkie.
he is. So you said Dilated is going on tour in the fall
Not
or in
not
August?
not quite a tour, but we're doing a big festival in Switzerland in August.
Oh,
So
okay.
we'll be there rocking the festival and but yeah. But Dilated. Um, I'm not gonna say when or where, but we're a lot more pickier these days as far as doing shows, but we're still doing them. But like I said, as long as it all makes sense and our schedules work, you may see Dilated in a town near you sooner than later. I'd like to think so. I look
Nice.
forward to doing some more shows with Evan Rock. Um, but yeah, we like I said, like I think we are in a great place where our friendships still come first, and doing Dilated on our terms now um, is really great. Being in a group of any sort for many years is really difficult. For those of you guys, I'm sure you guys have been in groups, and for those of you guys out there who try to be in a band or a group, it's really hard.
Yeah.
Especially the level that we got to, pretty serious business, and people's lives and livelihoods and families are all on the line. So um, through all those ups and downs, I'm just really grateful to say that me, Evan, Rock are all still brothers, and we still support each other in every kind of way. And it's nice now to be able to do Dilated. It's more of a thing that we do, I think, to preserve that legacy of all that music that we loved and created over these years, and this connection we made with our fan base that we want to preserve more than us having putting the pressure on it to pay our bills and stuff, you know. So
Right.
Dilated, I feel like it's not as frequent, but it's as pure as ever, I guess, in a way, since we don't put the pressure of our lives on it like we did at a certain point. So
is there any thinking of you guys haven't done an album in a while, or is it just something that might happen, or organically?
I can't speak for Evan Rock, but in my opinion, I'll never say never, but I
Right.
do know something historically with myself, Evidence, and Rocka. We're not the kind of group that just gets in the studio and songs just magically roll out of the pens and the drum machines. Like we're one of those groups where it's a struggle. I mean, we destroy and rebuild ideas over and over until they're perfect. We don't just record shit for the fuck of it. I mean, we're making the song, or we're making the song. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So in a sort of kind of way, I'm not going to say never, but I don't know. Because we're not young, and I don't know if we have the patience for each other like we used to. But making Dilated music, as beautiful as it was, it's a labor of love. So maybe we will, maybe we won't. Maybe we're in a place where we're ready to do it. But I think we'll just have to let time tell and see.
Yeah.
I like our body of work, and I don't know. It's weird to say. I don't know. Do I want to make the old version of Dilated People's album now? Like, it's just weird to think. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like,
Right.
I don't know. Like, I think of groups I like. I'm like, do I want to hear the older version of Lil Bow Wow's album? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, I think it's it's a lot of factors. You know what I mean? But if it feels right, it feels right. So I'll never say never.
Yeah.
And I think hip hop is such a young genre and culture that, we're just starting to enter this phase where we have elder statesmen and older people.
Yeah.
And, it was refreshing to see people like Busta getting his flowers, and still see someone like a Bun B over here, relevant, rocking. And, we have so many great examples where, even outside of hip hop, like I hope this hip hop can reach a point where it's like we can have our version of a Bill Withers, someone who
Yeah.
doesn't pop until they're in their 40s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why not? You know what I mean? So, but like I said, only time will tell for a new Dilated record. We'll see. I'll keep my fingers crossed, though.
Yeah, we will too.
Yeah.
Definitely. So,
For sure.
real quick before we
For
wrap
sure.
it up, anything else you want to talk about? You got coming up?
I mean, just if anything, check out Beat Junkies. If you're ever in the Glendale area, or you're in the Glendale area and you want to train with us in the flesh, come see about us, beatjunkiesound.com. If you want the experience online, we're also doing that as well. Check us out as well on beatjunkies.tv, and our record pool, beatjunkies.com. And everything Dilated is dilatedpeoples.com. It's as simple as that. And if you can see on the screen everything about me, at DJ Babu for real, at djbabuforreal.com as well. So,
All right.
yeah.
Excellent.
But you
Babu,
got to go to Glendale. That's where I'm from.
Hell yeah. Come through, everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna be still out there. Hopefully, you'll see me in your town soon. Like I said, I was just in Brazil. It looks like I'll be in Switzerland with Dilated in August. October, it looks like I'll be in Lisbon and Porto, Portugal. And if I'm not out on the road DJing, I'm here in Glendale rocking classes and building better DJs. So holler at your boy.
Doing the Lord's work, sir. Doing the
Yes,
Lord's
sir.
work.
Doing the Lord's work.
Yep. Build better DJs.
At least the DJ Lord's work. Well, that's
Yeah, right.
our homie DJ Lord. I mean the guy. You know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. All
Shout
right,
out to DJ Lord though.
Yeah, shout out to DJ Lord. Exactly. Yeah, thank you, Babu, for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Hey, thank you, C-Doc. Thank you, Jennifer O'Jenny. And thank you, the legend, Ultramax 7. My
This
man.
guy.
We're making
Virgo's in the
content together
house.
somehow. We're making content together, my Virgo brother.
Listen,
we got
brother,
to.
I'll holler at you. We'll get together. We got to do this. Trust me. We're gonna do
We're
this.
making zany fucking angry B-boy shit.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
It's
Thanks,
gonna be
guys.
great.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thank you,
Thanks so
Babu.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, there it is.
Wow.
Babu.
There you go.
There
Yep.
you go.
Yeah, triple
Woo!
out.
Dilated people say you better build twice. Act like you know not have it right now.
You imagine that? So yeah, the first time I went on any kind of a real tour, it was with Public Enemy, Black Alicious, Dilated Peoples.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I mean, it was only 4 shows, but still, you know. And Head Snack knows too, because Head Snack played. What you got? You played New York, I think, or Regenerated Headpiece. I think they played New York with them. So, yeah.
Why, thank you, Overkill.
Yeah. Oh, the
Back
commish.
to the commissioner.
Shout out to the commish. Oh, you didn't change your name. All right, so it's official. There you go.
The commissioner.
No, and actually, when I signed out Sunday night, I said, that's it for the commissioner.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm out.
Fantastic. You only played New NYC. That's good enough. Yeah. So part of that legendary tour. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh, this episode of It's C-Doc Again is brought to you, as always, by the Spit Slam Record Label Group. The Spit Slam Record Label Group, a Chuck D situation. Catch us on your favorite streaming platform, on Bandcamp, or visit our official web store at spitslamrecords.com. All releases are available digitally or on CD, with select titles available on vinyl and cassette. The Spit Slam Record Label Group. Throwback to the future sound. Yes, indeedy. And got a couple other things I want to talk about. Spit Slam, you can also catch me every Friday night, along with Chuck D and Flatline, with the Angie Don't Stop radio show, where I play the Spit Slam Jam of the Week. This week's Spit Slam Jam of the Week is DJ M Rock's 2 Slices from his album A Deadly Shade of Gold. So you can check that out on the Rap Station app or Mixcloud or something like that. So check that stuff out. Also, I want to mention that this is heading to record stores. Hopefully a record store near you. It's the new Rap Central Station mag paper, brought to you by Mr. Chuck D himself, and it's free. So hopefully it'll be at a record store near you. Ads, look, C-Doc again. There it is.
I saw that.
Wow.
Yeah. Actually, we got 2 because this one also has an episode list, at least up to episode 80. So
wow.
Yeah. So there you go. And charts and a couple articles, Rap Station charts. You know, see who made the charts. Very cool stuff. So yeah, that is out now. Like I said, free at record stores. What else did I have to mention? There was something else I had to mention. Oh, for all the LA peoples, coming up. What's that? What's the date, Jennifer? The 22nd, July 22nd.
22nd.
July 22nd. Schoolie D will be in LA for a warehouse party. Throw it up, Walter.
Doing a free warehouse party.
Free warehouse party. Schoolie D in LA. So if you guys want to get down with the Schoolie School, more information coming soon. So stay tuned for that. And
even if you're not in LA and you just want to come out because it's Schoolie D.
Because it's Schoolie D. Exactly. No, not Kumo D, Schooly D.
Schooly D.
And
No.
yeah. And DJ Soulbuck.
Fuck.
You can catch DJ Soulbuck, Jennifer O'Jenny, and Ultramag 7 every Sunday for the mixtape, where they play music from the artists that we are featuring on next week's episode of It's C-Doc again. So, Jennifer, what music are you playing this Sunday coming up?
We are, as Ultramag rumbles through the. What the hell was that? First of all, next week is not on Tuesday, because
Yes.
Tuesday is the 4th. It will be on the 5th, and it will be a certain person by the name of Dylan. Apparently, he also goes by the name of, what is it, Ultramag?
Lobster Damas.
There you go.
I got Dylan on cassette. You know I'm official.
Son.
I got Dylan on cassette.
There it is. So
that's my dude.
Mix.
That's my dude.
Mix this Sunday. Yeah.
Yes. Lobby Dom. Close up.
Check out the Lobster Mix on Sunday and join us next Wednesday as we welcome Dylan to the show for another episode of It's C-Doc again. So yes, next week we're taking off the 4th. We'll be back on the 5th. So don't forget. And thank you for everybody watching live tonight. Thank you for everybody watching on the replay. If you like the show, please like and subscribe to our channel and catch some of our previous episodes on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts at. We're still doing podcasts, aren't we, Jen?
Yes, we are.
All right. We're
just not twitching it anymore.
Yeah. Twitch was the failed experiment. That's okay. You know, we tried. We tried the Twitch. Didn't work.
We tried, and then bye-bye.
Twitch is not for us. Not for us. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Ultramag, and everybody else. And we will see everyone here next week for another episode of It's C-Doc again. You know, from what he said, I didn't